Hey there everyone, this is Dave. I'm just checking in with you, giving you a little bit of a progress update on how the desks are coming along. I apologize for the low lights. Kind of later in the day. I do this after work, right? So what we got here is plank number 1 and plank number 2 that I'm going to be using for building the desk. This one has a nice little crack along the bottom edge too. Yeah. Can't really see it in this light, but so we've gone ahead and put some sandable and stainable filler down here in the bottom, so that's going to seal up the crack. Should provide enough, should be loose enough to allow the board to flex and whatnot without getting too over the top. You keep breaking, right? Keep shearing down the line. But anyway, so this is the bottom of the second board. I'll drop it in just a moment. You can see the top of it. But over here, this is going to be the primary desk surface. You can see here I've done a little bit of work on this one. This has been hand sanded so far, and then also I've used this little random sander down there to just to go through it and start removing some of the saw marks, like you can see here. Start getting rid of some of that and just leveling it off. Now obviously in the ideal world I'd use a planer because that would allow me to get an even more smooth surface and really kind of get down the wood, but that's not going to happen. So what we've done here is gone through with a 100 grit. This guy did hand sand it, hand sanded using a block. Which I had lying around. I don't know where it is anymore. Hand sanded with a 100 grit, just to take off the initial rough cut surface, and the bottom of this is still the same way. Then I've gone through with the hand palm sander, and I've gone through and done some other ones. You can see some of the sawdust and whatever. So I have not cleaned the top of this, but this is a remarkably smooth board already. So this is not going to require as much work as the other guy over here, which I'll talk about in just a moment. One other thing to note is the live edge here. So let me, you can see here kind of the surface that we're dealing with, right? So I'm keeping this live edge all the way down. One thing I am doing, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a dip in between. That's from the saw, between the wood itself and the live edge. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and sanded that across, and so that'll be flush down the side of this board, but I'm going to keep it because if you notice in profile, it kind of goes out and then kind of cuts back in, so that's good. It gives me a little additional palm area. If I need to, since this is a lot softer, I can just sand it down or maybe angle it even if it gets down to it. But overall, some of the characteristics of butternut, you got some really nice grain, some grain figuring here. In this case, you can kind of see some of the blues and grays that are in that wood. Good little character knot. This stuff we'll end up doing is might fill this with resin, might not, I don't know yet. But regardless, it's going to get a coat of gloss poly, oil-based, I think is what we've decided on doing. So some good knots, nothing too deep, nothing, this is, again, the perfect kind of surface. Some nice swirl marks. If you look at some of the peaks here, you can see just kind of a single peak. I guess in reading, black walnut has double peaks, so it has a different type of character. Remember, this isn't part of the walnut family. One other note, let me grab a little bit of this and bring it down, is that butternut used to be used for dyeing things yellow. So the bark itself actually yellows, and if you boil it, it gets a little bit darker yellow. They used to use that for, on the frontier, as it were. Used to use that for, dyeing clothes and dyeing cotton or whatever. So that's the primary desk. Let's go over to the other desk. So this is again the rough sawn. This is the rough sawn. I haven't done anything. This is the bottom. So you can see here again that kind of bluey gray character line. Now this is the bottom, so you can see it's split, splitting a little bit. So what we're going to do on this one is after we're going to go through and rough sand it. Again, 100 grit, using the hand sander or palm sander there, and then we're going to use Howard's Feed and Wax and just basically just get some wax in there, get some orange oil in there as well, just to allow the wood to keep, you know, condition the wood as it were. Probably not going to finish the bottom of this particular one. A little worried, more worried about splitting and whatnot long term. So hold on a sec. And just nuked a piece of the bark. Anyway, so this is the top. So again, good character line. You can see here that this looks remarkably like that, which looks remarkably like this. So these are actually sister boards, I've been told. They're cut from the same tree, so that's a nice thing. But again, some of the blue-gray down here, which is very, very cool figuring. And then also, you know, the crack in the top. So we did do a little fill here. Sorry, get my hand out of the way. In the top there, just filled a little bit in these guys as well, just to get something down into the cracks to prevent it from splitting. But again, same concept here. This is going to be the second desk surface. So this one had a little bit more saw action on it. So this is really smooth, and then you hit these things, and obviously it's roughed up. And this is where a planer would come in, because I can sand this all day. It's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to determine, I got a little bit more sanding that has to be done here. Not on this one, not as big, so I'm not really worried about that. We'll just seal that over with the polygloss, and then the rest of it's pretty decent. Very smooth down here. But again, we're good looking for this one, since it will primarily have printers on top of it, you know, and monitors and that kind of stuff. Looking for something that's going to, a surface that's going to wear pretty well. So we're probably going to use, you know, 4 or 5 coats of that oil-based poly, and maybe even a sanding sealer to begin with, just to give it a really, you know, solid base on that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. I'll post this up on the website so you can take a look at the evolution of this. But, you know, in a couple of weeks, we'll hopefully get down to the first coat. Talk to you later. Bye.